What's up, guys? It has been a long hiatus, but I am back with more league racing at Imola. It has been probably over a month since I've posted a league racing video, and there are a lot of reasons for that. Okay, first of all, I've just been busy, and I have been doing the league races, but have been busy at work and with some other stuff in terms of just having the time to really spend editing the videos and putting everything together and all that. So I haven't really been doing a lot of that, which means that I am a few races behind. I've had probably 4 or 5 league races since the last one that I posted, and not every one of those is going to get a commentary and get posted, but some of those definitely are. And this one is the most recent one that I've done, track limits violation there, and it was at Imola, which is a track that I really love. And for me, Imola, I think, is one of the most fun races that I can do just because I think the track's a lot of fun. It's just a good time. But I will say this specific race doesn't, well, I won't say that it doesn't go well, but I will say that I maybe had some struggles. I didn't really practice much for this. I ran probably 5 laps before I jumped into qualifying. So I wasn't super ready. I mean, I didn't really I didn't find the perfect setup. I'd never felt that confident about this setup during the race. And I do think that I found a little bit more pace, but I do think also just overall that I was not the fastest person on track. Well, I'm never the fastest person on track, but I was probably the slowest person on track. And at least in qualifying, I was, in fact, the slowest person on track. And I almost caught Whiz Bang in front of me, but unfortunately couldn't do it because I messed up the last corner. Let's hope that's not a preface of things to come in the race. I got off to a really terrible start there. You see me getting absolutely dusted by Incident. And you can also see my strategy is the medium tires. I have not posted this video yet, but we did a Miami race, and we did a Miami race, and I got a bit cheeky with strategy and went soft medium. And I thought, based on my preparation, that it could work, and I could stay under 75% tire wear and avoid a puncture. And you will see what happens when I post that video. But suffice to say that I go over 75% tire wear. So I didn't really want to replicate that. And also, I haven't done a lot of prep for this. I ran a lot of laps before Miami. I really kind of nailed down my strategy and what I expected from tire wear and all that. I didn't really do that here. I kind of was going into the race blind. I overfueled. I figured I will go with the default strategy and we will try to make it work. So that's what I do. Start in the mediums, go into the hards. After 1 lap, I'm in 15th place here. And you see Mud Duck is probably going to get a pretty good run on me right here, if I had to guess. I made up a couple of places at the start, just from people sort of spinning off, not getting great starts, maybe making errors. I'm not quite sure exactly what happened with everyone. But I also benefited from the fact that 3 people qualified behind me. Well, didn't qualify behind me, but I think either DNF'd or didn't get a completed lap during qualifying. So I guess technically qualified behind me. But I'm not dumb here. I know that I'm not going to have a ton of pace just because I can already tell I'm not feeling great with the setup. And I also know that I'm not one of the fastest in the league to begin with. So I know that this is going to be a race where I need to rely upon my ability to keep it clean and hopefully improve throughout the race and pump in some better lap times to take advantage of other people's errors and DNFs or anything of that sort. And I'm probably just going to need a little bit of luck from other drivers making errors and having problems. But we'll see if I can do that. I'm behind 562 King here, who has a lot more pace than I do. But I am able to stick with him a little bit, and I was hoping that I could stick with him into the DRS zone on the back straight. But unfortunately, I go out of DRS range about right there. You can see me at about 1.1 seconds behind him, and I am in last place on track, P16. So we've got a lot of places to make up here if we'd like to score points. Fast forward to lap 7 here. You see that the bottom, Spots retired from session. Spots is out of the session. And then you see this safety car. Eventually. There it is. So you see the safety car there, and this is perfect timing for me. I was planning to pit around lap 10, 11, 12, something like that, if I remember the original strategy. And I figured This is perfect. It's not going to get any better than this. I'm right before the pit straight. I knew that I could pit, and I thought I can definitely make these hards last until the end of the race. And I benefited from the fact that I was closest to the pit lane, and ended up moving up to P14 in front of my teammate. Um, uh, when we get back to the start. I know that Hal's quicker than I am, and I was happy to let him by here. I wasn't going to fight him. Sometimes I finish in front of Hal, but it's because he DNFs or, well, that was timely. He kind of spins off there in front of me. I think he ultimately ended up retiring from the race. You see me barely avoid that. I was kind of focused on the car on my right and did not see Mud Duck sort of tailing off to the left of me, and that could have been very bad. In retrospect, if I had seen him there, I would have slowed down, but I was kind of focused to my right, didn't see what was happening to my left, but was fortunate enough to not make contact with him and stay in front of him. But I did get in front of Moose um, in that little scrum, and got managed to get in front of Turtle Commander right there too, who went off track for some reason. And there's a good chance that Turtle Commander is going to catch me. He's pretty rapid, but I hope that I can stay in front of him for as long as possible. But that does put me into P11. You can see here Moose is roughly half a second behind me. Turtle is roughly half a second behind him. And I'm hoping to stay in front of these guys. I get the feeling here, I don't think that Moose is going to make a move. I felt like I'd covered it off, and then I see the red arrows. He kind of makes a pretty late dive, which I thought was a pretty brave dive bomb on his part, but it works out. We didn't make any contact, which is good. I should have defended the inside a little better, but honestly, I thought he was too far back, and that I paid for my thinking that. You see me mismanage that turn a little bit, and Turtle Commander gets by. He probably would have gotten by anyway, but the fact that I went off track meant that he was able to get by quicker, sooner, and easier than he probably thought that he would have. But of course, what I'm going to do here is try to stick with these guys and take advantage of the DRS straight at the beginning of the next lap. Because if, like I said, I do think Turtle's faster than I am, and I think that Moose is faster than I am also. But from time to time, I have had really good on-track battling, especially with Moose, because I do think that we are close enough in pace that if I'm fast and he's a little slower, then we are able to sort of stick with each other and have some good battles on track. So I was hoping to stick with him here, and maybe if he makes a mistake, makes an error, I can take advantage of that and jump up in the ranks. I do think that I get DRS here. Yep, I got DRS there. And you see me hit the battery, but unfortunately I'm almost out of battery here, so I'm pretty confident I'm not going to be able to catch them, and that is the case. By the end of the start finish straight there, I'm over a second back, made up a little time on the turn, but not enough to mean anything. The good news here is people are going to start pitting. Turtle Commander goes into the pits, and I think we're starting to get to the point here where the guys who started on the hards are going to pit. And this is where I really get the benefit of that early safety car, because yes, I had to pit during the safety car, so I started second from last on the restart. But now all these guys are hitting the point where they have to pit. And remember, my pitting was done under safety car conditions, and so it took less time. And Imola is a track where it takes a lot of time to go through the pit lane. So I was bound to benefit from that. You see Ray pull over here to the side. I didn't know what was happening at the time, thought it was a little weird. After the race, he actually said that he made contact with somebody else on track, and he thought it was his fault, although apparently they didn't actually make contact. But because he thought it was his fault, he was going to let that guy by. Sean McGlock, I think maybe is who it was. Not positive about that. But to let Sean McGlock by, he also had to let me by. So he let me by. Turns out he didn't need to actually do that, because I don't think that he made contact with the other car, and he gave me that position for nothing. But I took it, and I was happy to take it. On the other hand, it looks like he's probably going to catch me if he keeps it clean and keeps it on the track, doesn't get any damage, doesn't get any spins or anything like that. Sean McGlock is roughly half a second here, very quickly gaining. And by the way, you saw the incident was pitting a couple laps ago, and I managed to get in front of him. He's going to be very fast on his new set of tires, so keep watching for that guy. But Sean McGlock here gets within range to make a pass going into this, and I don't know. I didn't really defend that at all. Probably should have in retrospect, but At this point, I do think I was feeling a little discouraged by pace and thought that I wasn't really going to be able to stay in front of anyone purely on pace, and it would have been a tough sell to try to stay in front of Sean McGlock for the next 9 laps with a very big pace gap. I mean, he's on medium tires, and my hards are already old at this point. So I just don't think that there was anything doing there. Ray Ray is behind me. I thought he was going to be able to pass me on the straight, but it looks like he's not going to be able to do it. And I think I hit some battery on that straight as well and kept him behind. But I don't know how long I'm going to be able to do that. The good news is he's got a 3-second penalty. So if I can stay at least 3 seconds within him in front of me, then I will be fine and I will get that place. But then, out of nowhere, he spins or something. I don't know exactly what happened there. He maybe spun coming out of the turn, and I'm able to keep the position in front of him. And I do think that he probably ended up spinning again after that because he ends up losing a lot of time behind me, which is fine with me. Happy to take the position. But like I said, Incident pitted and came out of the pits probably, I don't know, 20, 25 seconds behind me, something like that. And within 6, 7 laps catches me. So he is on new mediums and I'm on old hards, but I do think that that probably still speaks to the pace difference between us, unfortunately. And you see him pull away very quickly too here. So it just goes to show you, I mean, even on top of a tire slash strategy delta, you have just the skill delta, right, of what our different disparate paces are, right? And you may not be able to tell. This was kind of a surprise to me, but if you look on the mini map in the bottom left of the screen here, there is a car coming up behind me, and it is not a car that is in order. That would be, say, the leader, who is absolutely smacking everyone else. Looks like he's, I don't know, 15 seconds ahead of 20 seconds ahead maybe of anyone on the lead lap right now. Didn't realize it at the time, but I do think that he ends up winning this race by something like 20, 25 seconds. So, yeah, that is just, and that's with the safety car. So that's just kind of a classic slapping around. He definitely had a good race and good for him. But this lap 31 is my last lap of the race, just given the fact that I did get lapped here. So what you're seeing is me ending my race. And I just wanted to show you one full lap. I don't know that I've actually showed you one full lap. Maybe one slightly fast-forwarded lap. You see that my best lap was a 122.6. If I remember correctly, I don't think that I get a 122.6 on this. I think that I was pretty far off, but I felt pretty safe in terms of my position in the race. Turtle Commander is almost 6 seconds behind me with the 3-second penalty. So I've got a 9-second gap there to him. And it's coming down, but he is not going to have time to catch me. And I do think that this just kind of goes to show you, and this has been my MO for a long time. I'm always working on getting faster. I'm trying to get faster, but my MO, what I'm really good at, is just staying consistent, staying in the race, and letting other people make mistakes, because other people often make mistakes. Not everybody. There are some people who are flawless on the track, but a lot of people make mistakes. This is a race where I benefited from it. As you can see, Turtle finishes 3 seconds behind me. So if he hadn't spun a bunch of times, he certainly would have beaten me. And I end up P10 here. So we get a point. That's nice. We'll take it. Probably could have been more, but I will say overall, I do think that I was really consistent in this race. The one time that I would say I was very inconsistent was the time that you saw me go off track and Turtle Commander got by me, I think, I guess early in my second stint, I guess that was. But honestly, that was the only time I went off track. That was the only time I really missed something, really missed a breaking point or anything like that. So overall, very consistent race, and I'm happy with this. I'm happy to get the point. I want to do better than this, but also just given not being comfortable with the setup and not being very fast, not doing a lot of practice, I think this is a great result. We'll see you soon.